And we're on. We're on like Donkey Kong. God, that hurts. Subscribe to earn drops. Whoa. Get rewards by gifting subscriptions to me. I'm gonna get all the rewards. Let's go. I'm feeling better today. Hopefully. Let's just pretend I'm feeling better. I am feeling better health-wise. Mentally? We'll see. We'll see. I worked a little bit on this last night. This being the OniThulhu. Looking at it now, it feels overwhelming. I'm gonna be real, like, I spent so much time on the under structure, the skeleton of this, that, you know, I realized just how much detail I'm going to render, how much I need to realize. That's not a bad thing, it's just hard. And not feeling at 100% left me with this, like, kind of feeling that just not being 100% made it feel even harder. So I'm gonna feel hard at it. Yeah, you feel hard at you. Don't say that to people, like, in serious conversation. Just be like, I feel hard at you. It's phrasing. It doesn't come across right. So, how much piss do I feel? Let's put in the first unit of piss measurement. I'm liking this piss vial thing, because, like, I can copy, paste a duplicate. We put the piss measure here, and then I start, like, no, it's this piss measure thing. It's piss measure 2. Is it working? Oh no, it's piss measure 1. There we go. And we've made the piss rise. Can we make the piss measure fall? What is happening here? I don't know what's happening here. Where am I selecting on? Piss measure. No. Oh my god. There we go. Piss measure 2. Piss measure. There we go. So I can make it fall and rise. God, that's fun. We're just gonna hide that for the time being. We'll get back to piss measure depending on how this goes. So my morale got a little shook by just how off it felt yesterday. Just felt a little off. Felt a lot off, like stopping the stream abruptly and being like, I'm gonna be sick. Shit. So going to start perusing royalty-free music and making that the focus of the music, and being judgmental of royalty-free music. Just such a dick thing to do, but why not? This stuff is weird. I'm kind of into it. It was like honestly one of the first things I clicked on. I'm trying to find stuff that isn't AI made either. So it's going to be another metric of this experiment. How do we prevent the AI creep? What do we call this? This is called Trippy Songs to Sip Soup to, royalty-free music. We'll drop it in the chat. I don't know if this is heaven, but they claim to be the royalty-free heaven. And that's pretty cool. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of this cheap hot tool. So I'm like really happy with it. There we go. I got it in shot this time. Yay. This is just some rambling, incoherent stuff. Music-wise. It's all over the place, man. Like, this is my slidey guitar. Yo, the story behind the piss meter is I was fundraising to try to go to this event called Night Camp. And it was a thing that, like, artisans, you know, people who do what I do, can get together and they commune with nature in the woods on like a really special piece of private property. It's super neat. It's super cool. I haven't been able to go yet, but this is the second year that Night Camp's been going on. I've been streaming and doing events and things and trying to fundraise for Night Camp, and you know, I decided I would throw you know, whatever support that we got into the Night Camp fundraising meter. And so it was a meter that was filling with gold. Yeah, it's like Bohemian Grove, yeah. But yeah, no, I haven't gotten any new Ko-Fi supporters, and none of the things that I've been doing to get more support have been working. So it's just like I feel like the world is telling me shut up, man. Just do your thing, and maybe when you aren't in a dystopian hellscape, you'll be able to go to this kind of event. So while doing this fundraising thing, like I kind of got sick, and it could have been a stress related thing, or I could have just gotten sick. Like that does happen. So I had to like stop fundraising yesterday, like really abruptly. I was like, I feel really sick, I gotta go. And that pretty much cemented like I couldn't fight to the end kind of thing, and try and hope to get something working. It's just not in the cards. So yeah, I turned the fundraiser meter into a piss meter for any time during the stream where I feel like the amount of piss is increasing or decreasing. I'm just sorry that, like, you know, either I'm failing people, or things are really bad, which I kind of think they are. Even if I'm doing poorly, I kind of think things are really bad, but I like the meter. I spent the time drawing it. It's a test tube, and it fills with various colored liquid. So, I don't know, just keep it. I'm collecting weird doodads on the screen, like phrases, like release the Epstein files. How much piss do I feel? If not talking, then concentrating, because I'll tell you, when piss is cash, right? I really wish it was, but at this point, piss is just piss. Like we've gone into full degeneracy. We're taking whatever we can get. The golden shower is it's open to the public. I don't know. I'm just trying to have fun. And I've come to the conclusion that probably isn't going to happen the conventional ways. And like in most things, I'm going to have to figure out whatever my way looks like and roll with it until it works. And that looks like reviewing royalty-free music, sculpting, and making piss graphics. This is like really bad. Like, I hate to say that about royalty-free music, but this is these instruments should not be together. It feels like there's two songs being played simultaneously. How much do I need? I need about $2,500 to get over there. It's on the opposite side of the country. And so I have to take a plane, and I have to make sure that I have enough money to not work for the time that it's going on. Like, this is also objectively, like, really bad guitar playing. Like, I'm not trying to poo-poo it. This is all part of the same album, by the way. So, and Chikome, just as, like, a quick aside, that's normally not an issue like, if I were to have done this a year ago, like a fundraising thing, no problem. But it's just a lot that's changed in the United States in the last year. And wouldn't you know, it is very hard to fundraise. So I was just at the grocery store, and most of the meat was just rotting. Like, there's just a bunch of manager special stickers on things, and it's still expensive, and it's just rotting on the shelves. Like, it's gross, man. Stuff ain't good. I'm sure there are places that aren't feeling it as much, but I do not feel very isolated from this nonsense. What's really crazy is, like, I think that's also a pretty tight budget for the trip. Like, it could easily cost more, but I was willing to, like, pay some of the expenses myself. And an average month in the United States for, you know, a family of 3, and I say I have a family of 3 because I've got a big dog. I got a real big dog. And so he eats about as much as a person does. But, like, the average, you know, expenditure per month is like $4,000 to $5,000. It's just how much it costs to fucking live and run my business and stuff. But, like, most people, if they don't have the business thing, they're doing like 36 to like $4,000 a month. In expenses. Like, it's yeah, we got the shrinkflation going on too. We got the shrinkflation going on too. BK, I'm not a big fan of what's happening with global finances. You know, there's some people out there who just keep getting fabulously more wealthy. So yeah, in case you didn't know, I'm a big advocate for regular people. And it's not just because I want to get better in life, into a better place in life, and, you know, I made mine, so you go get yours kind of thing. Like, I want a system that makes sense for folks, like, long term, because I remember being a kid and not having a great sense of what was going on in the world or what to do. And I definitely wasn't in a position to get, like, nepotismed into some good place in life. And I had plenty of really good opportunities, but I chalked that up to the fact that the time that I was growing up was actually pretty good. But going and doing my thing and becoming an adult and living through several financial crises that like weren't my fault but came out of my taxes. I would rather stand with the everyman who keeps working really hard and paying for all this crap to happen. And I think that people should be expected to pay less. And have that, less mean more. It's so hard to know what that looks like. The value of your currency, you're like, oh, that's expensive. But that may not be expensive to some class of person. It's like, where do you draw the line of how much currency should be valued at? What's the metric for real value? And it's so hard to know anymore. Like, so much is digitized, and optimized to such a degree that human beings may not be part of that economy any longer. It's all very complicated. I'm not trying to get doom and gloom. Like, my piss is not rising. Look, see, this would be going up. It's not. We're not doing that. We're not going. Hold on. I'm gonna raise. I'm gonna raise this. Piss measure thing. So yeah, that's what it would look like if I was feeling more piss. But no, the piss is low. We've got low piss. By the way, tomorrow night I am trying to get a guest speaker, sculptor, badass in the community, guy that goes by the name of Bad Chad. He's an artisan like myself, and just a interesting free thinker. I'm going to be really interested to hear what he's got to say about his views on art, and we're going to try and pick a fun topic. If I would love to hear your input about what kind of topics you might be interested in hearing. Like, if you just kind of want us to shoot the shit about creativity, that's easy. That's like my default. I feel like I'm walking through a very hyped mega church right now. When I first started this channel, I was planning on like showing off my projects and also engaging with guests about some kind of creative topic. We did things like, talking about creative blocks or color theory. So anything from like a philosophy or theory about creativity to pretty direct subject matter. And I haven't done that in a little while. I know that I usually end up talking about something creative. I think that's just like habit at this point. That's how I get through the day. But I'm going to be reopening this old format to talk with Bad Chad. So any thoughts or input you guys might have would be more than, welcome. Share your thoughts. Now we're on like this is like the disco character select screen. It's like, what if Metal Gear was in the 1970s? This is ridiculous. This is so weird. I wonder what this guy's creative process is like when he makes this royalty-free stuff. Let's take a look at this. I feel like there may be some RNG elements in play here. Like, guy throws a dart at a dartboard. Did you know about the Greek word that technology is derived from? I did not know about the Greek word that technology is derived from. Do I have to do some research? I probably have to do some research. I don't know who listens to something like that and is like, yeah, that's our sound. That's just the royalty-free kick. Okay. I mean, sort of. Okay, so we're gonna stop that because that's just distracting. So, art means technology. Or rather the refinement of ideas into, physical space. Changing the idea into reality. Like deep language, that's where it goes. And yes, art is technology, because anything that is a commonly known technology is also referred to as prior art. Folk art. Art is kind of diminished. Let me see if this is the right. Often with how people talk about it, because it's meant to seem like, oh, it's just folky, everybody kind of stuff. But like the roots of our human language put art and technology squarely at the same place. State of the art, for example, it means what is the current technology. This isn't. I did not know that techne was a Greek word for art, but I'm sure that there's a lot of other languages that have very similar things that exist. I think it's interesting that there is a Greek derivative. I do not think it's interesting that, well, any longer, that art is technology, because it is. The technology of the people is the art of the people. Artisans create things, they make ideas real. They carry the knowledge of technology. But what I do find interesting is that oftentimes there will be certain kinds of people that diminish the value of the arts and sciences. When it is quite possibly like the living knowledge of art throughout human history is possibly the largest reason we have for what we would consider to be modern quality of life. So many things, so many concepts have survived throughout, mass structural changes to governments and educational institutions and language. And why? Because people literally just do them, regardless of how the language changes or the regimes play out. There is that living record. There is that state of the art. I think that's the really interesting story. But the language that we have to describe I don't think that that makes it more significant or real. It's kind of one of those things that you need to be exposed to the idea of, you know, what is technology? People need to be exposed to like what technology is. Not focusing on what technology isn't, but like what is the technology around us? What are the very real and tangible benefits to a society that embraces the the art of its culture? And like let's face it, the art of our culture includes programming languages, and it includes electrical engineering, and it includes machining. It includes a lot of things, along with architecture. There's just so much that we have to be thankful for lack of a better word right now, that exists because of stewards who have carried that living knowledge with them their whole lives and pass it on and introduce young people to those interests, which end up being so important to future ideas. A talking point on art and technology could be pretty interesting. So if I were to talk about my experiences with art and craftsmanship, would you want to hear about like what sort of opportunities I feel that I've had, and what has actually provided me with opportunities in this space? Or I'm kind of worried of that topic just being like, we're artists, we value art, this is why you should value art too, and then the kind of comes off as a little preachy instead of just appreciative. Just talking about a concern. I'm not saying that that's what um, the topic is all about. You got me thinking, and so that's good. Now it's just kind of like the brainstorming. Also, I got into kind of a rhythm yesterday while I was like sick and spewing with this. I got a lot of work done so far. We've just got more to do, and I'm here for it. I hope you guys like the progression that's been made so far, and I'll go through and discuss kind of what facial features I'm building up with this. It's a little difficult to see because I understand it's all gray, um, but we're keeping the majority of the eyes, above flesh level because they gotta punch out a little bit, but the brow is going to be further forward than the cheekbone. We want the brow to be kind of lunging out, and that also sets the third eye further back in the head somewhat visually. And then the ridges that we put in this kind of like nostril area, I'm using these ridges to show almost like it's going like this and snarling. I like that. So if we go back to the original sculpture, there are these pretty innocuous lines here. Literally, a dude carving a car out of a giant piece of clay. Yeah, kind of. Um, I'm gonna be taking this kind of ridge here and using it as just an underlying structure to make that kind of snarl look pop out. Good to see you here for the first time, Design Bits. How are you doing? My name's Binge. I make keyboard keycaps and other keyboard sundries. I am working on this iterative sculpture, which is a collaborative piece between myself and another artist who goes by Allhex. Iterative sculpting being, you go from one stage like so, and you mold, you cast a copy of it like this, and you modify it, and then you mold it, and you get to your next iteration, which is like this. So you have all the steps at which you could, make different decisions previously molded and cast. And you can go back if you so desire, or, making the iterations gives you this hardscape that you can work on. And so any kind of changes that you make to your current sculpting media don't affect the underlying structure. And that's currently what's going on. It's good to have you. So we were. Have you ever seen how new car bodies are made? Yeah. I have been on similarly sized projects. Other things, other kinds of products. For a while, I was taking commissions from companies that needed rapid prototyping for like audio stuff. I've got a background in audio a little bit, and it really interested me, so I pursued that line of work. Yeah, just about every product that you can think of that is molded has some sort of sculpting or forming element to it. Okay. Just kind of checking out my symmetry here. And going to make subtle changes here in order to get that to be more uniform. Because this is meant to be the last part of this sculpture. I don't intend to iterate any more on this character. So I've got to get things done right the first time. See how we're looking in the direct light. Okay. It's pretty good. You can see that there's like a lot more highlight over here than there is over here. So there's like a bit of material I gotta dig out. It's just getting the right tool and not attacking it too quickly that I'm concerned with. See what this looks like. It's right side up, upside down. It became very cat-like. I guess you could, yeah, you could go that direction. Again, this is meant to be like this shape is very open-ended. You're supposed to see a face in it and then build on top of it. And so I'm building on top of this, you know, with a very specific intention. And it could look a bunch of different ways to a bunch of different people, but trust me, I haven't even gotten to the tentacles yet. I am glad that you like it. I'm glad that you like it. But like, just be aware that you are supposed to kind of see things that aren't necessarily there. And that's because this whole thing has been designed so multiple people can develop their own characters off of the earliest iteration in this process. And I think that's another interesting thing about iterative processes in general. Like if you design it so that it can be built on, it's going to mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I feel like that's been a huge success with this project in particular, is that we've been able to evoke that iterative quality. And you are not the only person to have seen a cat. Okay. I appreciate that too. Like it means so much that this is getting anybody to think, "Oh, I understand this shape." Like I get it. Um Unfortunately, like that doesn't do much for its Lovecraftian nature. Like the Thulu part is meant to be unknowable, beyond human comprehension. But you know what? I kind of think that's where the up to interpretation is. It's beyond comprehension. It's up to interpretation. I like that. Now all I gotta do is just get all this material to sit in the right place. The deep ones. That's right. Well, the deep ones, if I recall my Cthulhu mythos properly, those are just kind of like weird evil sea creatures. Or weird um madness inducing sea creatures. The old ones are generally where I get my giggles. I think the old ones are cool. Okay. I'm trying to change a few of these features so like I can see where the balances and imbalances are. And that's proving to be a little bit difficult. I really should have changed the underlying figure so it wasn't gray. Like we had it for this guy, where this was more of like a coppery color. That just the high contrast makes a huge difference in being able to see what's going on. But this is like one kind of gray on another gray, and it oh, my eyes, man, it's rough. So today is Thursday, my dudes. Thursday. Hope you're all doing well. Shit. Okay, that was a good move though. I did I did a goodie. Okay. This is a hot tool, so this is going at about 167 degrees Fahrenheit. It just helps me move the wax around more easily. I gotta be real. I write a lot more than I read these days. I haven't kept up with really many modern authors. Um, I think the last time I read a book series was about 8, 9 years ago. I read graphic novels still, but that's like that's been a pastime of mine for, ever since I was a kid. I recently had to get rid of a lot of my graphic novels just because I subscribe to a little bit of cancel culture, and I kind of think that Neil Gaiman should be a better human being. But it does not change the fact that he made some really well written stories. So it's hard. It's really hard. I like loved American Gods. It's pretty fantastic. And part of the reason why I got into him ages ago is because of how he worked with the Henson companies. But I've always been more of like an audio visual um, kind of person, movies, games, stuff like that, than a lot of books. It's been like the rare book that has gotten me to sit down and page through it. And books that I generally really like are like reference manuals. I like reference manuals a lot. I have a bunch. Um, just because they're kind of like unfiltered, as long as you understand the lingo, the jargon, the tech speech, then you can absorb everything in that technical manual. You got like the use case examples, and oh man, it's so refreshing to read something and just get the knowledge. All right, I'm gonna try a different royalty-free soundtrack to my life. I did not get into Transmetropolitan. I think one of the biggest problems is that I'm not a big DC junkie. I'm not even like a really big Marvel junkie. I got into comics with Marvel, but dude, I was into basically like I had my first introduction to graphic novels was basically elf porn. If you know Elf Quest, like I had a lot of fantasy stuff. Like I grew up reading, Forgotten Realms books and Dark Sun, and I was a big Dungeons and Dragons guy and stuff like that. Um, and as I got older, I just started writing more and doing more art, and it's hard to find time for everything. Um, yeah, I don't know what the Vertigo series is. I gotta be real. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it? While I find a new batch of royalty-free music. This guy is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, so I gotta give it. This is gangster as hell, though. I like this beat, though. I think they could have spiced up that ending a little bit more, but pretty good. This is way better than the last royalty-free stuff that we had going on here. Woo. I like how low the bass is reaching. Is that appropriate? It is appropriate. I see it now. I see the curves. I see the angles. Come on, focus down here. Why are you so out of focus? There we go. Dude, it is struggling with this figure. So I apologize for the fidelity. That did it. This is gonna be such a bitch to clean up. I have a feeling like this song's gonna fade out because it's such a rhythmic cycle. I feel like they don't want you to lose that. I've got the blues. Aight. Kind of like a Beats Antique kind of feel. Oh yeah? That is very flattering to hear. I don't know what to say, but I think they're awesome as well. Beats Antique is they've got a special place. You know, this guy, this may not be as like beautifully produced as something like Beats Antique, but you know, he's doing some stuff with these samples that are like, you know, it's fresh. It feels good. It feels contemporary at least. I don't 100% get the vibe. Like and again, I think that's where the polish comment comes in. It's like it's not as obvious to me that there's a theme like what you'd get with Beats Antique. Other than there's like some sampling of what do you call that? Public domain going on. So that's that for that album. I'm gonna see what other stuff this guy's got. Getting hit up. All right. Yep, that's right. We're going to the next track here. We're gonna go. This one's called Life in Reverse. Starts with death. My buddy's saying hi from Japan. It's good to see them. But we're starting with death, baby. Here, Life in Reverse, royalty free. Working on this OniThulhu. Brilliant sculpt by some brilliant people. kind of like this tape delay. Warp and wobble. My wife just sent me a photo of a squirrel sniffing the road, just like straight up being like, "What is this fresh asphalt?" We got weird squirrels around here. They weird, but that's okay. Ooh, honey, let's get it on. Ooh, honey. Kind of reminds me of I don't know if you've heard of them, but I'm in Love with a Ghost. They kind of do a chill-fi, lo-fi kind of sound. This is like hitting that vibe for me. Yeah, so I'm sending feelers out to all kinds of artists and seeing if they'd be willing to chat, you know, talk about art, the etymology of kind of the language that people talk about art with. That is a neat topic, BK. So I'm gonna keep mulling that over, seeing if that is the path forward. So I'm running into an issue where, like, I've got this tool. It's kind of hard to get around this tooth. But we'll do it anyway. We will prevail. We will work this out. Because that's what we do. All right. Taking another look-see at this. Still a little too tall. Does this kind of raises up on the sides? So I don't need to take any more material away from like this area over here. I gotta focus on the gnaws. Yeah. I think the conversation starter is really in how do we talk about art. It's so free and such a broad topic. But I think also at the same time, that could be a little redundant. I'm not trying to get like too philosophical, but like if you think about it, that's what I'm supposing that we do. We talk about art. So talking about how to talk about art, maybe that's a little meta. Can a thing be too meta? What's the new meta? Ooh, shit. You got me reeling, brother. You got me reeling. It's kind of working out. I would argue most people think museum when they hear art. I think maybe young people. Maybe. I found that, like, when a lot of folks get introduced to art, you know, they kind of go in various directions with it. That is to say, when a person finds art that they value, they tend to observe the greater landscape of the arts in very particular ways, and so they can be like really opinionated. And that can also be like the complete and total rejection of it. Like, there is no perceivable value here. This is just kind of like a worthless thing that people do. I've come across those types. It's rare. It's very rare. But to them, the art isn't something to, you know, live from in this kind of like separative, the art's part of a museum or it's hung up on a wall, and they're just like, just exist, just do your thing, just, you know, make your mark on the world, and you are the art of life. At least that's how they'd say it if they were like compassionate. But generally they like saying that they value things that are more down to earth. But they can't help but say it in ways that are kind of condescending. Yeah. It's a shame when that is the narrative. Oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. These eyes are going to pop out. These eyes are going to pop out, my dude. Yeah, we're getting there with the right side starting to match the left. We got good balance going on here. So, like, for example, I think that there is a real beauty to stuff like fishing or hunting. And boy, like, fishers and hunters are reverent about the beauty in that honed skill and craft and practice, ritual. Such reverence. It's a devoted kind of reference, you know, reverence. There's nothing else like it, right? I think you can kind of say that about just about any art freak. I'm kind of that way with, you know, when it comes to casting, like resin stuff. I am not the biggest fan of stuff that is not shaped like a keycap. There are very few things that are resin cast where I'm like, yeah, that is a banger resin cast thing and I want it. Um, Now I also have a lot of like I turn my nose up at things like resin coasters. I'm not a big fan of resin coasters. I don't know why you would want a resin coaster. Lots of plastics degrade when they've got like constant contact with water. It it kind of turns into like a sort of toxic jelly. I mean, it could last for a while, but eventually you're going to throw it away, and then once it goes in the landfill, it becomes nature's problem, and that's a problem. I'd rather coasters be made out of like cork. That's got its own environmental issues, but it's not going to like become a part of some animal's habitat and throw microplastics out there. Like that's the other thing. Freaking resin coasters and stuff of that ilk. It takes so much sanding. They make so much plastic dust when they make that stuff. Um, all of my plastic dust is in a that I've made over the last 10 years is in like a cereal box size container, and it's only about like this thick, and basically I collect it in there, and then I dump solvent in it, and it melts it together, so it becomes a macroplastic, not a microplastic. But that's all of the plastic dust that I've made over 10 years of doing this. Whereas like anybody making a resin coaster, they're just like throwing this thing on the sander and like it's man. And then you got people making resin like drinking cups and tumblers and things, and you're just like, why why would you do that? These are not these are not the right plastics for that job. um I might change my tune on resin dice at some point, but, and here's a big but, um the same techniques that make really nice resin dice, people use other kinds of materials, and I think it does a better job. So I'm admittedly a little bit of a resin keycap snob, but I also know how much work goes into these things, and like I kind of force. It's part of my favorite hobby. I got a lot of biases. Yes, I have a lot of biases. Strong opinions. People are obviously like able to do. So when I talk about resin, I talk about anything that is a thermoset plastic. That means that there are two materials, a resin and a catalyst, and the catalyst causes the resin to form long polymer chains and solidify. That's what I mean by resin. It could be polyurethane, it could be polyester, it could be epoxy, it could be um, various kinds of rubbers. There's more types. I'm just like drawing blanks. Epoxy would be one kind of resin, though. So we finished that royalty-free album. This guy's pretty good. I might get a royalty-free album or two from him. He's just pretty good. This one's called Dark Hip Hop. I don't really understand this twang, this country twang. This is like the kind of hip hop you hear as some, wrestler's intro music. Or maybe like some sort of like a custom car modifying television show or something like that. This is like this drum kit. I'm not the biggest fan of the drum kit. So what are we cowboy theme? Okay. I was also thinking about like what if there was a Grand Theft Auto like Orange County, California edition? Or like Grand Theft Auto Wyoming. This like I hope y'all know I feel like I'm making really good progress with this. I feel like this is doing good stuff. So my piss meter is not going up. That's the real takeaway is like we found no reason so far to increase the piss meter. The piss is steady. Oh. We're getting like, this is supposed to be dark hip hop, but this is more just like country hip hop. Maybe it's dark hip hop because there's like less lights on the highway in the country. But I do like the lead instrument in that that chorus part. Nope, that is not the right piece. I think this is, though. The shouting is weird, though. Like the hut, hut, hut. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is a little strange. Yo, they just down pitched that. Yo. Yes, that's really weird, man. Why is there an acoustic guitar? Okay, so we've entered dark hip hop James Bond. I'm not sure this guy. Oh, this guy RuneScapes? That might explain some things. Yeah, it's got very I think that this guy's royalty-free music could be like the start menu for like a lot of video games. It's totally possible. No! I just lost a piece of wax into the ether. Gotta be gentle with it sometimes. I'm such a brute. That was an interesting hanging note finish. Okay. Wash your dishes, buddy. Wear your rubber gloves. Put that Dawn dish soap. Lather up those suds. Yeah. Yeah. This is where the yelling would have come in. This is the song for it. Simon Says. Beep boop bop. You hit the wrong one. I'm not gonna stop. This is actually kind of dope. It's like a modem, a dial out to nowhere. Or just the rap I talk about washing my dishes. I don't know where that came from. But like truthfully, I really did appreciate that track. Something special going on there. Rubber glove. Yep, that's the one time I get to be lyrically agile for the next year. The like heavy hip hop horn, it does not fit with all of the pluckies. I also feel like that lead, like, they've got a synth in there and it's just not forward enough in the mix. It's too ethereal, too out there, man. There's that horn again. He's getting horny. Quack. 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 It is a lot of random memes thrown together. Musical memes. Memesical chairs. Like, I listen to some MF Doom, I listen to some Kendrick Lamar and whatnot, but I am not the biggest hip-hop head out there. I don't think I know enough. Oh, dun 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 dun. No, I'm not even in the right key. Dang. But yeah. No, it's pretty common chord progression, that's for sure. You see the grin starting to form. And the scrunchy nose. Yeah. Well, it's 5 to 8 p.m. my time. I'm gonna take a break for now, so my piss meter doesn't go like bloop, 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 bloop. Get some food, re-energize. I might be back later tonight. I might just sculpt on my own, save the energy for tomorrow night. Again, I should have Bad Chat on tomorrow night, and we'll see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's been a lot of fun. I can't see if anybody else is online from here, so I'm afraid I'm not gonna be raiding anybody, but bye-bye everybody. Have a good one. Love you all. You're the best.